but there really isn't anything like being in nature. Every girl watching, I hope you love this and appreciate this is real me. Sometimes you become a mirror for other people for what they're not doing. Hi, my name is Jen. This is Lady and Ziggy, and this is our tiny home office, Rosie. We built this in 2020 to 2021 as our pivot, and let's take you inside. So welcome to the kitchen. This is one of my favorite parts of the van because I do love to cook. So when we're camping or when we're sedentary for a good amount of time, I love to bust out my camper stove. I also have a small burner that really tends to work for me well. And then I just cook a bunch and store and freeze. This is my beautiful sink, which can also go outside. And I can like wash off my feet, the dog's feet. That was really important because we get really dirty. So I wanted to be able to rinse off whenever I could. I love having the sink and the cutting board over the sink. That was really important to me to have extra room and to have extra counter space. So we built this with butcher block. So I wanted to be able to cut as much as I could. All of my veggies, all of my fruits, my nuts, my seeds, whatever I was making. I wanted to have plenty of counter space for that. So crystals are a must. We pick those up whenever we're feeling the pull and we're somewhere. We'll go crystal shopping and find something beautiful. Down here, I keep a lot of, I have like my kettle for water, which we kind of live and die by. I really, really love having this. And then I use it with my French press, which has been perfect for me in the morning. And then I'll use the remainder of the water a lot to wash the dishes, anything like that. I keep a lot of dog things down here, anything really for the kitchen, toilet paper, paper towels, extra water, Ziploc bags. I have a steamer because I don't like to roll around not pressed if I can. Not all the time, but like if I need to look put together, I will. So that's kind of what I keep down here. We have a water tank down there, and then my little fridge here. This is a new purchase for me, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's locking my fridge and freezer when I was driving. I carry a lot of juice in here, which you'll see, and I would be driving down the road and everything was falling. It's kind of driving me crazy because it's really loud and scary at the time. So I got these little baby locks, and those are really working awesome to keep everything in place. So loving that. The fridge is a 110 volt, so that's really amazing. And the size has worked out perfect for me. I went from city life to smaller life, and I was curious how that was going to feel for me, if it was going to feel restrictive. But what's actually perfect is I can carry just what I need, and I tend to not waste food as much. So I really love that. And then I probably restock every, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. I have a lot of dry goods down here, which I'll show you. That's one of my favorite parts of the van too. So the tiny fridge has worked out really perfect. I have learned along the way that there's a reason why people get van fridges. So I figured that out. As far as like how much power it draws, I can see the allure, but this is working fine for us. So I'm kind of loving it. So this is one of my favorite things in the van. I needed to feel like this was really a home for me. So this is my closet area, and I can keep sweaters, flannels, my raincoat. I also store even more clothes in these little bags. So I kind of stuff those back there, some towels. Down here is my pantry, which I love having. Everything has a place, so I'll keep all of my dry goods down here, and it's easy to just kind of grab and go when I'm ready. So I really love having this pantry. It's been awesome for me. And I'm constantly upgrading and adjusting as I learn what I need and how I need it to function. But so far, I'm really loving the pantry and the closet combo. So van life became natural to me, but the timing was really interesting. My grandparents used to have a little VW van, and they used to travel. We camped every summer when I was a kid in North Carolina. So I loved camping. I loved the outdoors. I love being in nature. I have, you know, my own coined term of urban hiking when I can't get into nature. So all those years in Chicago, I would hike, but I would hike in the city, which is a different experience, but there really isn't anything like being in nature. And I feel the most grounded when I'm here. When 2020 happened and we shut down in Chicago for 3 months, I had so much time to reflect. That's all I could do, was sit and think, what's next, what's happening, what makes sense, what feels right. and keeping my fancy apartment in the city didn't feel right when I had to, you know, cut a lot of expenses to save my storefront business. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. I had already downsized to a studio. I started watching all of these van life videos because it was the first time in my life where I could sit and think and not have to be in 10 places. I'd never had that time. I'd never had downtime from when I was young to now. I've always been working. I've always had multiple jobs. So I got to sit there and really like cultivate what is the next season of my life going to look like. And I refused to allow other forces to determine that to me. I always wanted to travel. I was obviously worried about expenses because I did have, you know, a storefront business. And I said, why don't I just take the money that I would use for an apartment for the next year and put it into a van? And then I can go anywhere I want. I can live anywhere I want. I can come back and tend to my business when I need to, when the world realigns, however that looks. I don't know how that's gonna look. And I just didn't want to put all my eggs in that basket. That didn't make sense for me. So I thought, why not take another chance on yourself and do something that you really have always wanted to do? You know, what's stopping you? So I decided to build a van. So this is my bathroom. For me, it was really essential traveling alone to have a private space if I needed it, if we were out camping and it was the middle of the night. I didn't want to have to go search for a restroom and leave the dogs in the car. That's just not really my thing. So we built out this shower. I have a Dometic toilet, the cassette toilet, which has actually worked out wonderful for me because we are more of a hybrid camping fam. It works out great to just be able to dump and go when I need to and use the restroom in the middle of the night. So I kind of love that. And then I have a linen shower curtain, which I love because it is antibacterial. So once it dries, you don't have to worry about mold or anything like that. So that was really perfect. Originally, I wanted one of those sliding doors that everyone has. That's beautiful. But aesthetically, it wasn't screaming to me. So I said, for me, I love the linen. The whole vision for the aesthetic of the van was soft and sweet. The world was on fire and I needed everything to be softer. So this is the Dinette living space. I wanted to have a convertible living space because when I'm on the road working, I wanted to be able to distinguish between day and night. I felt that was really important for me as a ritual to go from day to night. I will say I haven't used it as much as I've thought. So lesson learned, but I still love having it. So I don't regret having it. The table is on a Lagun mount and then it folds down into making my bed frame. And I really love that. So my cabinetry is something I really, really love. I had to go with the cane fabric. Again, when I was looking for warmth and softness, this was really nostalgic of the 70s and 80s. I'm an 80s kid, so I love that. Up here, I store batteries, chargers, anything kind of electronic. Back here, I keep denim, all my pants, jeans. I have probably more clothes than the average van lifer, but again, I felt like this was my journey and my journey alone, and I wanted to do it the way that I wanted to do it. And so I keep paring down little by little, but right now this is working fine for me. This is like my coffee breakfast bar. So I'll have smoothies, coffee, my French press. I also have flower essences for my water. I can tell you about that later, but anything that goes into the body and wellness goes there. Up here I'll have first aid kit, stuff for the dogs. I'll have my Theragun for when my muscles get sore. You're gonna love this. Every girl watching, I hope you love this and appreciate this is real me. Those are my shoes and I'm not even mad about it. They're my shoes. I'm not ready to give up a ton of shoes because I do work on the road. I own salons across the country. I do trainings across the country. So I kind of have to embody CEO as well as van girl. I'm not one or the other, I'm both. So for me, I'm keeping the shoes and that's that. So van life was an interesting turn for me, but if I really stepped back, it looked actually picture perfect. I'd had my salon business for 13 years. We're in multiple states. I have a training program where I get to go and train other people to open up under our brand. So I thought, well, you keep telling me to pivot, so I'm gonna pivot, but it's not gonna look how you think. So I built this van and now I can go do trainings anywhere I want. I don't have to worry about booking hotels, booking flights, Travel obviously got crazy with everything that happened in the world, and it's just so much more relaxing to be in the van. So that's how I keep myself going on the road. My salon businesses have come back, and that's been really amazing. I have a manager that has been with me for 5 years, so she runs our shop. I go back and forth. I do believe that I'll be a full-time snowbird because I love being on the road fully. In the summers, I spend a lot of time in Chicago, but this is perfect because I can leave every weekend whenever I want and go travel. So it does give me the best of both worlds. Like I said before, I'm not a big city CEO anymore. That title doesn't fit all the way. I've evolved and I've changed, and life has changed, and this is kind of the perfect fit. And I love helping people start their own businesses. So nothing felt more right than Rosie. I would think anyone that's on their own entrepreneurial journey to trust your gut. If your heart and your soul keeps calling you and telling you that you can do something different, do it. I do have a rule of thumb, possibly to not share that with everyone around you right away. Sometimes you become a mirror for other people for what they're not doing. So if you're going full force and you're excited and you go and tell your neighbors or your friend or your cousin or your brother or your mother, that could bring something up in them that has nothing to do with you. And then they're projecting negativity on your idea when you're like, no, I really want to do this. And then all of a sudden you're questioning yourself and you're doubting yourself. I had that happen so many times during this build. People are like, you need to fight for your business. You need to be up there. I knew that we had a period of another year of instability, and I knew that it was now or never for me if I was going to try something different, and I don't regret it. In my storage bench down here on this side, I have my water tank. I have a 40-gallon water tank, which has been plenty for me. I also will have tools, tarps, any kind of miscellaneous thing I would need. Here, I have all of my electricity. So I have 6 100 amp hour deep lithium batteries. I have my inverter. I have another toolkit down there, but all of this is electrical. I also have a water heater, so that really helps when I need hot water. And then I'll have my control panel over here so that I can see what my power usage is, when I need to plug in, when I need to recharge, and I can monitor everything right there, which I love. So this is my form of a garage area. It actually fits just what I need. I love my screen porch. It's one of my most favorite things. I have my water fill here. I'll have my water tank, my water hose, and that's kind of all I'll keep right there. Here I keep all my camping supplies, which I love, and I keep them in these little baskets. So I'll have lanterns, a rug, my camping chairs, hammocks, everything that I need to be cozy when I'm camping is right in there. And then down here you can access the power sources from the back. So I'll have my charger controller for my solar panels. I'll have my main control panel, my inverter, and then again, all the batteries are down there underneath the bench. I would say to anyone who is thinking about joining the van life movement to really, when you get scared, doubt and fear creeps in at all different times in our lives, forever. And that's one of the characteristics we want to really play with and learn to dance with is fear and doubt. They're never gonna go away. You can be on top of the world, you know, before the world changed a few years back. My business was doing the best it had ever done. I had no debt. And coming from someone who was homeless as a teenager, that was a really important thing to me. That really mattered. I worked for so many years to build that foundation for myself. And then I learned that's not the foundation. Money isn't it. Money isn't the security. The security comes from inside yourself. So if you're thinking about doing something that scares you, I would say lean into it. Really, really like dance with it and see, well, why am I scared of it? What could happen? I think about times where I've done something scary and what was the outcome? It was always good. You know, I've never had an experience that I dove into something that I was afraid of and it didn't turn out to be actually a really beautiful thing for me and for my life. So if you're thinking about it, I would say really sit with yourself, get quiet, talk less to other people until you really feel grounded in your decision and what's right for you, because nobody knows that but you. Thank you so much for following along our van tour. If you want to keep in touch with me, I'm on Instagram at @ZenJenn_2Ns. @Glow Out Salons is my business. and I'll see you on the road.